Folks, good afternoon to all of our cyber traders and then all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. Welcome on back here for this Monday afternoon, May 15th. So the odds of May, great to have all of us back here just joining us here. Michael and Ron and Andre and Chuck. We have Grant. Welcome on back, Grant, just joining us just earlier too. So with that said, folks, it has been a phenomenal day. Markets have been kind of flat now. But I say it's phenomenal because obviously we have the stock on the screen here, AI. If you're joining us actually coming off of the Bookmap presentation, Bookmap always does big webinar conferences every Monday. So I actually tagged in for Fausto just at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're joining us coming off of that event, hey, welcome on aboard. We had a few members just join us recently as a new trial member here too. So with that said, I mean, hey, a little continuation here from where I left off on the AI trade. So all throughout the day, we were following this stock. We talked about the entries just before. If you're joining us as a new trial member here today, well, I'll tell you, tomorrow morning, we'll be doing this all in our Traders Talk workshop. So, Josh at ctutrading.com is the email. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Shoot me a quick email. We'll definitely be covering this AI trade in full. Yeah, but just before it ended up re-breaking, re-popping above that big resistance at 2350, it was being tough to play with to begin. I mean, first test you expect, but then over time, the more that it can nip it and more that it could break over the big level, then it provides a pretty good opportunity at least to see the stock run higher. So there could have been a couple of points where there was a false break and you went in and out at the same price or took a small loss. But we were saying before, the more times that it could nip this in a shorter concentration, it allows for the bigger, better move. Now, the question is this going to hold resistance or hold support here? Or is this going to pull back under this big liquidity here and hold under it? Because if it does, then that's a huge red flag for the afternoon. Seeing this big shake here is not really ideal timing. So I would have loved to have seen an even better move on up towards the next resistance at 24. Yeah, I mean, right now, not too ideal here for this trade that I'm in. We'll see if this could hold as support, not just 2350, but even the highs there. Doesn't look as good, I'll tell you that much. Needs to snap right back on up right now. Nice start to the trade, but it's not a matter of how you start, it's a matter of how you finish, right? So got to see this continue to hold and then now move back on up. So yeah, for the afternoon, I'll still put this on our list. Makes the cut for right now. It's a stock that a lot of us are really familiar with. So for right now, yeah, we'll stick with it here. Let's go from top to bottom here. Otherwise, we'll see what else we can get here going into the close. I think this here up top, NGMS is a buyout. I think it's got to be. Yep. All right, so we move forward from that. OMH, I missed out on this actually. I was doing the presentation at 1 o'clock. I wasn't even focused on this beforehand. Looks like a new IPO, broke an all-time high, I reckon, today. Damn, this thing ended up really like nearly tripling up in price basically across the day. But again, it's not a matter of how you start, it's a matter of how you finish. And we know with these low volume, low flow, low, whatever you want to call them, they're pop and drops. So AI is not low volume. I mean, the faster it gets, the more expensive it gets. It'll thin out, but that's any trade. AI is definitely trading a lot more volume on a day-to-day than this thing. So, yeah, for right now, if you made money playing the or rolling the dice, going to the casino, good for you. It's nice, but better to be out earlier than to be out now. So, all right. So let's see what else we got here, though. Otherwise, EFSH cheapy. Gonna skip over that. Ooh, Vaxert. Wow, VXRT. I missed out on this here as well. This one actually, obviously, a lot more liquid, but also one that we traded like years back during COVID. Like during the beginning of the pandemic, like March of 2020, one of the stocks, many that pumped up for us back then. And now it actually seems like time's flying. It's been like 3 years since that. Good. So at least for right now, at least we know we have some good history with this stock. If this can make a fraction of the type of squeeze it made for us back in the pandemic, that could be a home run. A little slow here on the intraday chart for right now, which was a little faster. But yeah, we'll keep this in mind. Vaxert, I'm not going to go through every COVID stock right now, folks. Just whatever is on the gainer side here, then we'll look at like IBRX. You could see back in 21 and even during the pandemic 20, like beginning here, we ended up trading it, ran it up pretty nicely. I'm certain that there were reverse splits factored in though with this. I don't think it ever like topped at like $40 at the time actually. So it was a real move, just reverse stock splits factoring in. Making a nice run once again here today. Broke the highs just before. Looks like a nice Fausto flag that even broke there too. Yeah, so IBRX definitely put on our list here. You have some liquidity, nothing really that stands out too well. on the ask at 315 and 312, 22K. The AI trade, be careful. Just right now. Ended up just now snapping back under that 2350. So, if it holds under this here, that is a pretty big red flag. So, it's on our list still, but just wanted to give you an update just on this last right now. All right, we keep it going. This thing's had a wild ride here. The GSIT trade, once again, I mean, I was all over AI. I wasn't trying to juggle too many bowling pins in the air, too many irons in the fire, whatever you want to call it. Ended up making a phenomenal move, though, trending down leading into the open. So the pullback afterwards, not surprising at all. But from that point, not just the slingshot, but then the ensuing result afterwards, that was pretty impressive. So I wish I did focus in on this one a little bit more because we were, just trading it just from Friday. So we are pretty familiar with it in that regard. Now the spread's definitely opening up a lot. So, if it was more liquid, maybe I'd consider it. Looks really rugged right now, too. Looks like it already ran its course going up. For right now, I'll kind of write it down for the side list. Doesn't hurt to do that, but we'll see if there's anything looking better going up. All right. GETR. I don't know what happened to this thing from the end of last year. Weekly graph here, this is, but pretty cheap stock. Not going to really focus on a cheapie like this. Nothing against the cheapies, aside from the fact that they don't really move as concise as well as a stock that is traditionally above $1. That's why LMFA threw me off guard this morning. Once it ran back up, I ended up making 2 pennies on this thing this morning, and I was underwater a little bit at first on the trade. It was actually before that. Yeah, it was during this. Ended up jumping in pretty much right around 95 cents and pulled back. I was down a little bit at first. It pulled back up and I got out with +2. I'm happy to get that, right? This thing completely went back up. I was a little reluctant to jump in again, so I didn't take advantage of this trade, the LMFA from earlier. But now at this point, obviously, right? All right, let me keep it going, folks. TLS, this stock is pushing up. It's at the highs, and it's got a pretty liquid order book. I like that. That has all of the makings for a potentially very tradable stock into the close. It has a gap to fill, to which it is currently in the process of filling. So, $3, 295 looks to be the lows there. And then we have a bunch of crap here from $3.35, $3.40 from this big gap down and drop off from last year. So for right now, I mean, hey, hopefully it actually becomes a faster stock, more advantageous for us to trade. But it's at the highs. Hopefully more volume, joins the book here. All right, so let's see kind of here for right now. We got 4 stocks on our main list. We got a lot more to dig through on the gainer side, folks, really. There's a lot that's up. Not really looking too great overall at the SPY, just kind of flat here for right now. I know we got a bunch of things happening all throughout this week. There could be just, further anticipation or hesitation, for different financial reports to come out this week. We'll see what's out there. AI's trying. It just made a slingshot back up and over that 50. So, I'd say definitely move off that level now or forever hold your peace, I'd like to say on the AI trade. All right, so I think that's kind of it from the gainer side. The stock real popped, I guess, earlier, but pulled back, looks a little wonky. Not really too a fan of that. Ooh, UPST up big today. Yeah, coming off earnings. Wow, I completely missed out on this trade. We traded it pretty well back from, I think it was Wednesday last week it was, coming off the initial report. But wow, this thing definitely flew up today. Huge missed opportunity for myself. Let me just take a look here in the chat board. I want to see if anyone had called it out. I'm certain one of us it did. Yeah, Rich was on it at first at 11:04. Grant was talking about it. Chuck was talking about it, making a new HOD. Yeah, I mean, hey, if anyone had jumped in before, it's still looking pretty good. Making a move up towards 20 again. See if it could re-break the level at least. Give it a shot. I'll add it. All right, cool. That's a good one. I like that one there. Yeah, PAC W, like different class stocks or maybe warrants in PAC WP. We'll take a look at PACW, just the equity itself. And yeah, I mean, this is grinding on up towards $5. It's making a sneaky move up nearly 10% for right now. Why not? All right, that looks good. All right, so let's focus on the loser side for right now, seeing if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. AI definitely making that move back up that you wanted to see. So thankfully, there's still a lot of ball left to play on AI. That was a little shaky at first there. That was, for such a clean resistance, you do want to see like just get off the level and go up to 24. So that pull back down there, that was pretty wicked. The fact that it reversed that quickly and moved back off it, all right, definitely shows strength here for the time being, that AI trade. All right, so I think that's just about it here, folks. Nothing else really looking like a name brand stock, familiar name, good volume, shortable. I guess kind of take a look at some other sideless stocks here before I wrap up. We'll take a look at the chat board in just a second, but we'll look at IQ. We'll look at BBAI. That's another AI stock. If AI is up, maybe this can go, but clearly not the case here for this afternoon. Mara and Riot popped up earlier today. Riot, the better of the two, but now they look pretty stagnant, pretty lackluster for right now, so we'll pass here today. SoFi from earlier, there was a potential short if it ended up holding under 450, and I got out completely break even. My entry is at 451, out break even, same price. If it's not making that big move you're looking for, then maybe you could re-enter, but it broke back over 50, and that was that. Definitely just pretty slow for the meantime, though. Just a couple cheapy. How about this? This is where you don't want to get stuck hoping and holding. Really quick. I always love to prove this point. What the heck happened here today? This NXU stock was up huge in pre-market, like 60 up to 450. It pulls back, no surprise, right? That's all at like 6:30, like the crack of dawn. Well, it continued to drop. All right, maybe it could pop at some point. Maybe it could find a bottom. Maybe good old whole number level 1, right? We didn't call this out even, I think, at this stage. It wasn't really on our main list whatsoever, but just goes to show, like, how much lower can a stock keep dropping? You tell me. This filled the gap all the way down. I'm shocked that it hasn't broken lower just yet. It would probably be tomorrow at this stage for the stock NXU. All right, so I think that just about wraps it up from my side. Mike's saying, what happened to that real trade? I don't have the news on that just yet, Mike. Popped up before. It doesn't hurt us to put this on our main list. It's cheap. It's got a great spread. But let's see if there's anything looking even better, at least from like Benzinga Pro here before we wrap up. BNMV, I don't know how that's looking, but maybe a move there. NA, IBRX. On the way down, not much. That's okay. All right, so we'll take a look at like one or two of those there. Yeah, this isn't looking too good, and neither is that. All right, so when we're getting to stocks that look like this, you just know we're at like the bottom of the barrel. Pola did pop up back from Thursday last week. It was a dud. I guess making a pretty sound recovery right now for the afternoon. So, does it hurt us to put Pola on the list? No, I don't mind doing that for right now. More of a recent afternoon move, and we like that. So long as the spread remains at, it's opening up even now. I was hoping to find like a more consistently tight spread there, but for right now, I'll kind of keep it on our list. All right, so for any one of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works, and especially if you just joined us earlier from Bookmap on Discord, I appreciate you folks sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a quick email, josh@cttrading.com. Usually have less dry mouth. So with that in mind, if you're interested in joining our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there to get yourself set up and started. But for all of our students and members there right now, Michael, Ron, Dan, Leda, Grant, had Andre just before, Jith, and all of our students alike there. Rich will be on the mic taking you into the close, and I'll be in the chat board up until 3:30. So if you see something, say something. And folks, otherwise, hey, we have our Traders Talk workshop tomorrow. So again, let me know if you have any questions or trades you'd want to go over. Email me, especially for that workshop coming tomorrow morning inside our live trading room. All right, folks, I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.